Guys, we're going to move on to movie news bit numero dos. And this bit of news, again, is coming from Deadline. Carter, what are you doing over there? I hear like all this gust of wind.
Oh, I'll go turn off my air conditioner.
Anyway, so while Carter is turning off his air conditioning, Universal Pictures is now in talks, or they're making a deal with Madonna for her to co-write and direct her own biopic. Now this is going to be Universal Pictures going making a deal with Sony Pictures as well, producing through Amy Pascal. She's going to be co-writing this biopic with Diablo Cody. This feels weird to me. I mean, it feels strangely on brand for Madonna, but it seems, I don't know, I've never heard of anyone writing and directing their own biopic. It seems a little self-indulgent, if I'm being completely candid here. It seems a little self-indulgent, but I mean, the other side of the coin is maybe this could be a really cool thing. I don't know. Carter, like, how does it strike you that Madonna is co-writing and directing her own biopic? Where do you fall on this?
You know, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Like, you know, I storytell quite a bit. So, like, I go out and I do my own things, and I produce a lot of work that has to do with me. But, you know, that's at a smaller level. When it comes to Madonna, I'm just like, I think as long as she has help and as long as she has, you know, the guidance of people who have made these movies before, I think that it might just be like, it might be a newer thing that we've seen. I mean, we've seen documentaries where people have made autobiographical documentaries, but I've just never seen a biopic like that, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. But I am a little, worried about what it might. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
like, because we all know Madonna. She's a legend. She's a living legend. She set all new bars and standards for the music industry, not just music, but for entertainment in itself. Between her and Michael Jackson in the 80s, they dominated. Like, there was no one else in the music industry that were bigger than Madonna and Michael Jackson. And I think there's, like, her perspective and her insight. You know, I think there was a lot of interesting stuff that came out of the, not Bohemian Rhapsody. What was the other biopic? Rocketman, yes. With Sir Elton John being so closely attached to the Rocketman film, we got some really interesting insights into his imagination, into his wants and desires, and also knowing that he was so closely affiliated with that film, the negativity that was portrayed, or rather the negative aspects of his character that were portrayed in the film, now become validated. And we understand that, this is kind of the more gross side of Sir Elton John's life. And being that he was willing to tell that part of the story, that it just made it so much stronger of a connection for me, as opposed to Bohemian Rhapsody. You know, Freddie Mercury isn't around to lend his 2 cents in on, you know, how he felt or like his depiction of himself in that film. And the rest of his bandmates, they really kind of did a lot of censorship in terms of how gross do we get into the character of Freddie Mercury. So I guess my question is, how deep and how dark do you think Madonna is willing to go with this? Do you think she's going to go all the way and tell like all of the gross nitty gritty secrets, and kind of like portray herself in a real light? Or do you think she's going to kind of, you know, censor it a little bit? Like, do you have a feeling one way or the other?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen Madonna in interviews, and she just goes into some of the deepest things in her life. And I think that she might actually do it. And I think that that's why she wants to kind of be the head on it. And she takes all these aspects of her music, and even in the films that she acts in, you know, that she works as an executive director. I'm trying to remember. I just rewatched a film. I think it was with her and I think it's Rupert Everett. I think have you seen this film?
No.
Oh, it's very good. But but nonetheless, she just takes all of these roles because she knows what she wants. And I think I'd like to see what that looks like compared to Elton John, who throughout the majority of his career, he's very much trusted like his partnerships with Bernie Taupin, and even when he worked with Tim Rice and the book
For
writer
Lion King.
of
Yeah.
The Lion King and Billy Elliot, he very much trusts people. And even when you watch the behind the scenes of Rocket Man, he just trusts people on different aspects, gives them advice, but says you don't have to take it. And I don't really see Madonna giving advice and saying you don't have to take it. So I wonder if her helming it with with her version of leadership is going to bring out a film that we
Yeah.
all love.
Well, question is, guys, is how do you feel about Madonna directing and co-writing her own biopic? Do you think that, Carter and I bring up some decent points, or is there something that we have yet to take into consideration? Do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea? And how far do you think Madonna is going to go into some of the more nitty-gritty details of her story? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, we have